bring his ass to this ring? Give me a hell yeah!
And here we go again. I'm WB Ward, back with
Chip Douglas.
Yep, I'm sorry.
Did I jump on you?
No, well, I was talking more than usual. Which
I'm sorry.
Which says a lot. It says a lot
It's
to
a new
me.
one.
Yeah, well, we're here back for another week of SCI Wrestling. Lots of changes. You know, I've heard some criticism over the way Night of Champions was booked. I, however, am in complete disagreement with it. I thought it was booked brilliantly.
Really?
Yes.
In like the whole show, or just like one or two particular matches?
The whole show overall.
Okay.
And the only reason why I think that is because I think it achieved the exact thing WWE Creative was hoping to achieve, and that was the fact that the show itself left more questions than it gave answers. And the only way you can find the answers to that question is to watch the next pay-per-view. And of course, the only way to do that is to belly up to the WWE Network and pay $9.99.
Exactly.
So to that extent, I think it was quite successful.
It's I always think that the pay-per-views should be the payoff.
Theoretically, yes.
Eric Bischoff kind of put it to me very simple. He said he looks at every pay-per-view as the end of a book. He's writing a book. So for 4 weeks prior to that, he's writing each chapter, and the pay-per-view is the last chapter of that book.
That on the old school, absolute agreement. Absolute agreement, no argument for me whatsoever. However, WWE, in pure WWE fashion, they are rewriting that book. So, I mean, how many, leading up until this point, the only real competitor they ever had really was WCW.
That was it.
On that level.
Right.
How many pay-per-views a year did WCW do?
12.
WCW did 12 a year?
Yeah.
They did one a month?
One a month. They're actually the ones that originated doing once a month. Because if you remember back like in the early 90s, mid-90s, WWE only did maybe 6 a year.
Maybe.
It was WCW that actually expanded the pay-per-view market to go once a month.
Okay. Well, that creates yet another problem that I'm really going to have to ponder.
What's that?
It blows all hell out of my theory.
Yeah. WB actually followed them and doing it instead of like every 2 months, doing it every month.
However, though, to my credit, I can honestly say nobody has done it quite in the way that WWE is doing it now that they have pretty much made enemies out of every major television provider in the world.
True. With
the WWE Network. So they're having to go out about this at a little bit different marketing method than what was done in the past. So I think in the future, I think it is going to be wiser if, in fact, they do have one pay-per-view to actually serve as the introduction to the upcoming chapter rather than to be the conclusion of the book.
So they're just writing a bigger book.
They're writing a bigger book, and they don't write it as well. I will say that.
Right.
But to this extent on the Night of Champions, it did in fact provide more questions than it did give answers to it.
Okay.
So to that extent, I think if that's what they were going for, then by golly, I think they probably nailed it. Outside of that, yeah.
we'll dig a little bit deeper into this.
Meanwhile, let's go ahead and if we can, let's see if we can go ahead and get this
Can we get the
thing
engineers?
underway here. Yeah,
Can we get
need
them to work?
engineers. There you go.
There you are.
I think Carl was out taking a break.
10,
So
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
I got
1,
gas.
0.
What time is it, kids?
You know,
everyone's favorite segment.
Yes. The best of Twitter.
And this one, this is the tweet of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. I'm waiting for it to load.
Carl's taking another break.
Yeah. By the way, you can find us at SCI_wrestling. This is actually a non-wrestling tweet.
Oh.
Are you a Star Wars fan?
Oh, big time.
Okay. You'll get a kick out of this. So this actually comes from one of my favorite shows of all time, How I Met Your Mother. That's the name of the show.
Okay.
How I Met Your Mother.
All right.
And this tweet is brought to you by Depressed Darth, as in Darth Vader. Depressed Darth. So it goes like this, and he's explaining a girl that he went on. Guy went on a date with a girl,
right?
And this is his friend's response to this question. She's never seen Star Wars. Ted, the only people who haven't seen Star Wars are the characters in Star Wars, and that's because they lived them, Ted.
Yeah, okay, I'll follow that. I am curious. How did we decide on that one for tweet of the week?
I couldn't find a good wrestling one.
Oh, okay. that's fair enough, because it was just pretty. Yeah, you were trying desperately to find something, only to have Twitter turn back to you and say,
But I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
yeah. Originally when Twitter first came out, I thought it was a fan site for a country star.
Oh, I did find this one. Here, look at this picture.
Okay.
Hold on. Look at that picture.
Okay, I'm gonna hold this picture up to the microphone.
It was taken in Japan.
Ooh.
And the caption attached to it is Stone Cold vs. Loch Ness at WrestleMania 31. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, go follow us on Twitter and see it on Twitter. It's actually kind of funny.
Okay. And you shared Twitter. That's not a country music's fan site.
No.
Okay. Because I thought it had something to do with Conway Twitter.
Seriously? Conway. Oh, okay.
Conway Twitter.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay. Well, they all can't be gems.
You got to remember, I'm young.
That's true. Yeah, you are not of the same generation.
I'm young and in shape.
But you know what Conway Twitty is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, his real name is Howard Lord Jenkins.
Whoa.
Yeah, a little bit of country trivia.
I didn't know that.
And they were trying to decide on a country name for him, and his agent just looked at his tour dates that he was doing. He's from Little Rock, Arkansas, and he was performing a tour that started in Conway, Arkansas, and ended in Twitty, Texas, and that's how they got the name Conway Twitty.
FYI, you can find more random information like this at Ward's Daily Almanac.
WBWard.com.
Yeah.
Just a little, no extra charge for the country music trivia there, folks. Now back to the...
We promise this is a wrestling show.
Yeah, back to the matters at hand. Let's take a look and see the rankings.
Number 10.
Despite a formidable effort, the Usos could not hold on to the WWE Tag Team titles at Night of Champions, causing them to drop to the bottom rung on this week's countdown. With their fighting spirit, it's a safe bet that the high-flying brothers will look to do everything in their power to reclaim the titles as soon as possible.
Number 9.
Making their debut on the countdown, Gold and Stardust captured the WWE Tag Team titles at Night of Champions, and it didn't take long for other superstars to want to test their mettle in matches on Raw and SmackDown. Through it all, though, the Interstellar Superstars managed to hold on to their coveted titles.
Number 8.
She came, she saw, and AJ Lee conquered at Night of Champions at a Divas Triple Threat match by forcing Paige to submit to her trademark Black Widow. The Spitfire Diva now begins her third reign as Divas Champion. This is AJ's first appearance in the countdown in more than a month.
Number 7.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
With the authority at ringside, Randy Orton appeared confident before his Raw showdown with John Cena, but bedlam ensued when Ambrose ambushed Kane, Seth Rollins, and Orton. The chaos resulted in a disqualification win for Cena.
Number 6.
It's a shame for fate, lost her hand.
United States champion Sheamus loves a good fight. The Celtic Warrior found his perfect opponent in Cesaro when he successfully defended the Stars and Stripes title at Night of Champions.
Number 5.
Brock Lesnar drops to the midway point on this week's countdown after losing to John Cena at Night of Champions. The loss was by disqualification when Seth Rollins interfered with the match in an attempt to cash in his Money in the Bank contract. This one simple turn deftly demonstrates how things can change in the WWE within just a matter of minutes. Incidentally, since Cena won through disqualification, Brock remains the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Number 4.
Although he's now without his Money in the Bank briefcase, Seth Rollins is still the rightful owner of the championship contract contained within. Rollins nearly cashed in at Night of Champions in the big Lesnar vs. Cena clash. Is he already plotting his next attempt?
Number 3.
Although Dolph Ziggler was dethroned at Night of Champions by The Miz, the show-off struck back the next night on Raw and regained the prestigious Intercontinental title. Will the 3-time Intercontinental Champion hold on to his title a little bit longer this time around?
Number 2.
After a 2-week absence from the countdown, Ambrose is back. After making a surprising return at Night of Champions and attacking Seth Rollins, Ambrose unleashed an assault on The Miz and Damian Mizdow during Miz TV on the WWE main event. Capping off a frantic week, Ambrose made off with Rollins' Money in the Bank briefcase on SmackDown. And now, with this week's climb to the top of the chart,
Number 1.
After suffering a brutal beatdown by Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, John Cena fared slightly better when he picked up a win over Lesnar via disqualification at Night of Champions. The result came after Seth Rollins' ill-fated attempt to cash in. The C-Nation leader was quick to point out how foolish it was to make such a move against the Beast Incarnate. That's this week's SCI Top 10 PowerPoints. And of course that leads us up to Hell in the Cell, which will be coming up Sunday night, October 26th, live from the American Airlines Center in Dallas. Tickets are available now. They start at $25, go up to $400, but if you want a platinum seat that's going to be on the floor sitting at ringside, you're going to have to belly up $2,000.
Woo! Wow.
Sofa change.
Are you on?
Am I on?
Is your mic on?
Am I on what?
Your mic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm on.
Okay, just making sure.
I was just digging down to the music there, the Hell in the Cell theme song that's going to be coming up. You know, there, on this week's countdown, there were a couple of returns and some major moves on there that were a little bit surprising. WWE Universe really gave a bump to Dolph Ziggler this week.
Oh, absolutely. That's the one. In fact, you know, as we were sitting here listening to it, you heard me go, "Wow!"
Yeah.
I mean, it's well deserved. I mean, we both know that. I did not like because you mentioned earlier in the show how you thought Night of Champions was wonderfully booked, and that was one that I disagreed
only to that
on.
extent, but yes,
because I do disagree the fact that was not. I don't think that was well played. How he dropped the title to Miz, and then for him just to turn around and win it the next night.
I don't know if this was their rationale behind it or not, but that does present an interesting trivia for the Miz. When it comes to the Intercontinental Championship, excuse me, he now holds a record. I don't know if it's official or unofficial, but he does hold the record now for having twice held the Intercontinental Championship for less than 24 hours.
The Miz?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
No, I didn't know that.
This is the second time he's done that. So I don't know if maybe they're going to be using that for an upcoming storyline. Or,
yeah.
Speaking of the Miz, Damian Sandow has been doing a wonderful job being Miz's stunt double and mimicking everything he's doing.
I love it.
I think it's a hilarious thing, but I think it's setting up for a very obvious turn with Damian Sandow.
So Sandow could be going face, I believe.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Yeah.
At some point, he's going to get fed up with the Miz, going to turn on the Miz, and then that's just going to start a feud that will last probably up until whichever pay-per-view comes up after the feud starts.
Right.
But it does seem to be a natural sequence of events.
It is. It's kind of they're playing it right, which I'm really happy about. Sandow, I think, is really starting to get over a little bit, and so when they do turn him babyface, it's going to work really well.
I hope so, because he's a talented wrestler, and up until now, he's kind of like been the buffoon. And you and I have often commented on how apparently he was just simply trying to fill the shoes of one Santino Marella.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Nobody can fill his shoes.
No.
So I think they should quit trying with that, because Damian's talents could be used more effectively elsewhere other than just making him a public goofball.
Right. I remember I would watch like replays of Raw, or I'd see pictures and some random guy just dressed up, and for the longest time I'm like, who in the heck is that? And I never realized that was Damien Sandow until like weeks after the fact, because every week he would dress up as someone different.
I'll tell you something else I can kind of see coming up, possibly by Hell in a Cell. In regards to the rabbit, to the bunny rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
Coming out with
Adam Rose Rabbit?
Yep. I believe the identity of the rabbit is going to be revealed at some point, maybe leading up to the pay-per-view, or will be revealed in the pay-per-view. My question to you is, who would make the most impact on that? Now remember, it's got to be somebody fairly slim and tall. So that kind of narrows the field down. But I believe it's going to be a well-known personality, wrestler or otherwise.
Yeah, it'd have to be someone.
Well, yeah, it's got to be someone.
No.
They're very astute. There,
Hold on, let me finish my thought, because I was thinking as I was saying it. Has to be someone with a little bit. Excuse me, people. I'm a little bit tired, so.
Okay.
Gosh, I don't know who could fit that description.
I don't know.
And make it work.
You know, there for a while before I had the
Damien Sandow would actually make sense for it, but that wouldn't work right now.
I think, now maybe if Adam Rose came out fighting the Miz, and
that's true.
And then his stunt double is nowhere to be found.
And he's in the Rabbit.
So yeah, because you notice we never saw him and the Rabbit in the same place at the same time.
Ooh. So
I mean, that's just a thought of a possible storyline that could be cooking up. Now that would actually be pretty cool.
I like it.
Let's see. There was one other storyline that I saw a question being presented as a result of Night of Champions. The fact that in Hell in a Cell there is no concrete match right now for Brock Lesnar and Cena. There is nothing set up in stone just yet. As a matter of fact, the rumor circle has it that Brock Lesnar will not be at this pay-per-view. So if that's the case, they're not going to give John Cena the day off. I'm wondering if they're setting up for a feud between John Cena and Ambrose.
No, they can't.
Well, why? What say you? Why?
Because of the fact that right now, I was going to bring this up on the show. Right now, Ambrose is filling a huge void with his return. With Roman Reigns just having the surgery, Daniel Bryan's out. They're desperate for baby faces.
They are indeed,
and they cannot afford to switch Ambrose heel.
Well, who said that it would be Ambrose switching heel?
They can't afford to have Cena turn heel either.
Well, that's true.
Who else would they have? I mean, not saying I wouldn't like it. I mean, if truth be told, I would absolutely love it. If that was the case, if that's what happened. But I just know that would never happen. They need both of them. Where'd you hear about Lesnar not being at Hell in a Cell?
Don't remember.
Don't check my sources.
As of this past weekend, I do know that WWE officials had not decided if they want to have one or two matches at this year's Hell in the Cell. So far,
so who would be in the cell match?
Recording, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar was not booked for Hell in the Cell.
Wow.
And as of this week, the next obvious choice for a Hell in the Cell match to me would be Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose.
Right, having them in the cell.
Right,
and have that main event, Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right now, I know that John Cena and Brock Lesnar have not been booked
for the briefcase.
Yeah, because Seth Rollins is now, Dean Ambrose is now in possession of that.
Right.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I know in my countdown I said even though Seth Rollins doesn't have the briefcase, he is the rightful holder to the contract.
Right.
But up until now, hasn't the rule always been whoever possesses the contract has it? I was thinking, I thought for sure that's what that rule was.
No, it's you won the match. You just, that's your gimmick, is the fact that you have a briefcase.
I don't know. It just seemed to me I remembered it that way. So I was thinking, are they changing the rules here as they go along?
I remember watching CM Punk's video. And it's on WWE Network, by the way, for everyone who wants to watch it.
Cool.
Where he's talked about the second time he won Money in the Bank, and he was pissed about it because the fact that he goes, great, now I have to carry around this stupid suitcase for another 6 months.
I agree with what you were saying a while ago about they have enough heels.
Oh, yeah.
However, we saw a glimmer of Mark Henry possibly turning heel. He gave a tirade, I believe it was on SmackDown.
I missed that. I didn't know that.
He gave a tirade where he was really reaming out the WWE universe because he went up against Rusev.
Yeah.
And he was making comments like, I went up and I sacrificed all this and you people didn't even care.
Wow.
Now, Big Show came out, added in, not adding into the tirade, but he addressed what was an apparent frustrated Mark Henry, promising him he's going to knock out Rusev in the upcoming match, so to kind of you'll make amends for that. But it does kind of make me wonder if maybe they are positioning Mr. Henry to go heel again. Well, I hope not, because I love him as a face.
I mean, with this, if that promo came out of his mouth, I mean, to me, there's no other way. You got to do it.
Well,
you got to do it.
That could be, and he was pretty much trash talking the WWE universe at that point.
Yeah, there's no turning back from that. So yeah, it looks like maybe him and Big Show feud.
That would be an awesome collision
if the ring can hold it.
But I just hate to see them splitting up as a tag team.
Yeah, I do too. I actually thought they had something.
Ultimate tag team.
I thought they had something tag team wise.
Yeah, so you did not see the knockout punch that Big Show threw to Rusev?
No.
Then that was pretty awesome. The match was already over with, so it can be argued that Rusev just still didn't lose. But,
right.
But he knocked him out cold, left him lying flat on his back.
Wow.
Left him flatter than a communist economy. A little political humor.
That was good. That was good.
Thank you very much. I just thought of that.
Now, one thing I was speaking of tag teams, the Goldust and Stardust.
Oh my gosh. You know your tag team's in trouble when Goldust is the normal one.
You're right. And I love how he kind of plays the whole angle where he kind of looks back at Cody, like gives him the kind of look like, man, you're off.
Yeah, that coming from Goldust.
Yeah, coming from Goldust.
And when did they start this bit with Goldust? He talks like this, just like the Caped Crusader, of where he's talking real low. And
well, he looks like Darth Maul.
He does. He does indeed. He does indeed. And you know what the big difference is between Cody's makeup and Goldust's? Goldust's makeup changes every week.
Does it?
It's never the same design twice.
Huh.
Stardust, it's always a star.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you look closely at them, go on WWE Network, and if you guys haven't signed up for it, you can do so at WWE.com for only
$9.99. Why are we giving them plugs?
I don't know. We should be getting a commission off that. But if you go back and look at some of the old videos, you don't even have to go back very far. Just go back for the last 3 or 4 Raws or last 3 or 4 shows in which Goldust was on, and take a look very closely at his face, and you'll notice the design changes slightly.
Now, what do you think about their theme music? Because I was really kind of listening to that part.
I think
on the
they
countdown.
need to update it. Now they have, of course, during the countdown, all you heard was just the opening few seconds of it, as you know.
But still, you can hear when it kind of switches over.
They did put in the new music for Stardust, but I would like to hear them have something a little bit more upbeat, maybe a little bit more confrontational type music, like a war, some kind of a Star Wars type march. Or something like that, but that what they're playing off of now was Goldust's original entry as the chided movie star from days of old.
Yeah,
something just hit me.
What?
That would given the current storyline between Goldust and the Miz, that would present a very appropriate storyline. Miz is professing to be the big time Hollywood star.
Yeah,
Goldust, the original incarnation of the character, was to be a discarded Hollywood star. So had it not been for the fact that he flipped heel, that would make for an interesting confrontation.
What's funny is the fact that Goldust has never done a movie.
That's true.
Or Dustin Rhodes has never done a movie. At least The Miz has done a movie.
Yeah, but Dustin Reynolds has appeared on Howard Stern.
Oh, he has. I've seen that. I've actually watched that one.
So there you go.
When he had Tourette's.
Yeah, when he was having Tourette's, yes. And I like that a lot better than the Batman speak.
I saw that video, and what's great about the whole man, we're way off topic here.
Yes, we are.
But that Howard Stern video is the fact that he played it the whole time. Like he legitimately, for a second there, I thought to myself, maybe he does have Tourette's. Like I was sold.
No, hey, the one thing about pro wrestlers, when they get up to this caliber, actors they are. And they become very good actors, so it's no big surprise that a lot of them are out making movies.
Yep, it's true.
Oh, Another rumor I heard for Hell in the Cell. The rumor is
Breaking news.
Batista.
Ooh.
Batista may be being considered for a possible match within Hell in the Cell.
Well, if I don't know how they would do it in this amount of time, and who would they put with them?
I don't know. I got to tell you, Cena comes to mind.
Cena would be the only one that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, Cena would be a very possible contender.
I would say, because I read something on Bleacher Report that said that Batista is rumored for WrestleMania 31 against Triple H, which that would make sense.
Wait a minute. Is Brock Lesnar not being thought of at all now?
He is. He is. I think he'll still be champion all the way to WrestleMania, and I think it's going to be Roman Reigns, in my opinion, the one's going to take on the Beast Incarnate at WrestleMania. But Batista taking on Triple H should be a different story.
Okay. Now, this is something completely off topic, but it was something I was wanting to ask you earlier, and I thought, no, I'll just wait and I'll ask you during the show.
Okay.
See if you've heard anything. What the hell's happened to Jerry Lawler?
What do you mean?
He hasn't been on any show. He hasn't been on Raw or SmackDown over the last few weeks. I was wondering, have you heard if he's ill or... I mean, I scoured the WWE corporate section of their website, and I didn't see any of these "we wish him well" postings or anything.
No, he still has a job.
He's still listed as an employee.
Yeah.
But he has not been on television. I didn't know if maybe he was having some health issues.
He might just be on vacation.
That could be.
I mean, you know me, and you know the fact that I'm pretty religious on this stuff and trying to keep up with everything.
That's why I figured if anything has happened, you'd be a good
I
source.
would know.
Yeah. So it very well could be just a vacation.
Maybe he's on just hiatus.
And you know, so many people come and go. Batista comes and goes. Brock Lesnar comes and goes. The most recent departure has been Chris Jericho. He's not with the show now.
Yep.
And they got this revolving door of talent, and for some reason, some of them they let back in, like the three or four mentioned performers. I can understand why they would let Chris Jericho back. Why Batista is beyond me.
Right. That's a good point.
But yeah, I don't know why they tolerate it though. I mean, that leaves the WWE Creative in kind of a lurch of, damn, you just got here, dude. You just got here. So the future of WWE, I got to tell you, is really not looking very well from where I sit because of the strains that they're having on talent, which I continue hearing rumors about how they're not, I don't know if I would say cheating the talent out of some money, but the talent is not making as much as what they should be.
Well, they're not getting royalties from WB Network.
Yeah, and that was specifically what I was referring to, actually, to tell you the truth. So with talent leaving, and I can't help but wonder if that may have something to do with the people who do leave quite often. Yeah. With that happening, with the injuries that they've been suffering, and they've also secluded themselves from most of the major television providers. I don't know if Cox and DirecTV are even offering their pay-per-views anymore. They're certainly not referring to them on the on any of their shows anymore.
No.
All they talk about now is the WWE network.
That's all they talk about now.
So now that they've been ostracized from the television community, they're suffering from talent problems, both in labor and in health issues.
NXT
is going to be their only lifeboat they have right now.
And boy, they got some good ones coming.
I hope so, and I hope they bring them over soon. Bring them over quickly, please.
Now.
Save our show. That's an SOS right there. Save our show. It's an injured puppy.
SCI Wrestling is throwing out the SOS to WBE. Save our show, please.
Please send them over. Give us a hand, please. It's a dying breed. Well, maybe between now and next week we'll see some reparations done. You know, you never know. Things can happen within just a matter of moments within the WWE.
Never know.
I have to admit though, it has been a very quick 30 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. Felt like 10.
Always. And for the rest of you, please tune into a computer next week and you'll hear yet another fine episode of this show we call SCI.